Hey guys, um, just wanted to do a teaching session, and really get my thoughts down and what the Lord's been showing me about things to come. And I know the title says Daniel, a breakdown, but you know that all the prophecies inside the Bible are connected. So I'm going to be focusing on Daniel, but I just want to first quickly talk about the book of Revelations. Now, there's many different ways to interpret the book of Revelations, but I'm going to tell you what the Lord has been showing me about things to come. Now, we know there's seven seals, seven trumpets, seven vials or bowls, and they all signify judgment. Um, the way that I would interpret it, some people say it's all the same thing, but I look at it as they are three distinct events of sevens. Okay. So what we are going to be entering now are the seven seals. That I believe that hasn't taken place, and I believe that is what we are about to go through. So the first and second seal, which would be the white and black horse, they would there that is going to be the beginning of things. Um, yeah. Okay, so now I'll go into the book of Daniel, which I just laid out there as a foundation for what I'm going to be talking about in the book of Daniel. In the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 9, if you read the King James version, I'm not sure about other versions, but it says 62 and 7, or 7 and 62. It makes a clear distinction and separates the 70 weeks. Just like it leaves out the last week for the last sentence in Daniel chapter 9. It makes mention the last week. It doesn't even add that to the 62 and 7. So I believe it was separated for a reason. Some people believe that it all happened already. 62 and 7. We're just waiting for the final 7. But yeah, I always questioned that to myself and said, okay, then how is this temple supposed to be rebuilt? How are all these things supposed to happen? And we know that history repeats itself. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything that has been will be done again. So I kind of look at the coming of Christ as a template for what's about to go down right now with the two witnesses and all that. So yeah, so I believe those 7 weeks that where it says 62 and 7, I believe those 7 weeks are yet to come. They haven't been fulfilled yet. But when these 70 weeks are finished, the age of grace is over. And we're moving into a new system of doing things. But while this age of grace is still here, everyone has a chance to partake in that way. And will everyone have a chance to partake in the way in Jesus's blood covenant for the 1,000-year reign? Sure, but it's gonna be different. Evil's gonna be put into order. Satan is gonna be bound in chains in hell. Excuse me. And that's what I believe. So just keep that in mind. The angel Gabriel reveals this to Daniel. Now it says in Daniel chapter 7, it talks about in verse 2 the four winds. Four great, and then it goes on to say that, from the four winds, this is important, just keep that in mind, four winds, because that's how we're going to be able to paint a clear picture for what's happening in Revelations by looking at these key words. Okay, so the four winds. It says four great beasts came out of the sea. All right, okay, and those four beasts represent four kings or four kingdoms. The first beast was a lion with wings, having his wings plucked out. And I believe that is probably one of the two witnesses. If you look what does a lion with the wings represent, if you try to Google it, you'll come up with a cherubim. A cherubim, or sometimes they say it's a bull with wings or a lion with wings, but it represents an angelic figure of authority, and I believe that's the two witnesses. So this thing that's happening right now would be the seven trumpets. Not saying the seven trumpets are being blown, but this is the era. The seven seals have already passed. Okay, it'll make more sense as I go on. And then you also have Russia, a bear with three ribs in his mouth. Now, could that symbolize three countries that are to be taken over by Russia? They already have Ukraine, but who knows? Okay, that's just speculation. But the American lion thing, that's what the Lord has really been putting into my heart. The leopard with four wings could also be representative of the Middle East. And the fourth beast, which is diverse from all others, meaning it's different from all others. And it's also a collection of rulers. It has 10 horns. Okay, those 10 horns, the angel Gabriel explained to Daniel, they are 10 rulers, 10 kings. And out of those 10 kings, I'm guessing the three most powerful, or the three last, or the three which are the head of this thing, of this beast, get plucked up, and a little horn is established, comes up. So you have these four beasts, and then the last beast, the little horn comes out of. Okay. And it also says inside Daniel chapter 7, but the saints shall inherit the earth. So no matter what's going on with these kingdoms, or whoever's involved in these kingdoms, God's people are gonna inherit the earth. All right, and then it goes on. These are another key words. It says the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given, and the books were opened. Okay, now what book? He's usually, whenever, if you know your Bible, that really should strike a chord in you, and you should think of, okay, this is the book of life. The books were open, and maybe the book of death, I don't know, but there is a book of life, and it's who. This is also symbolic of the first resurrection. Now, if you know your Bible prophecies, you would also know there is a first resurrection and a second resurrection. I believe this is the first resurrection. Okay, this is what the Ancient of Days is talking about. Judgment, there was a judgment. And whenever there's a judgment, there's a judge. And I believe inside Isaiah chapter 33, verse 22, I could be wrong, it says, God is the lawgiver and the judge and the ruler. Or something like that, I'm paraphrasing. So this is the Ancient of Days is God. He's the one giving the judgment. And he's saying the books are opened. This is the first resurrection. And then it goes on to say after that, one like the Son of Man. Now I would, this is just my point of view, and what God's showing me is that when Christ died on that cross, everything was already done for him. He sits at the right hand of God until the earth until the enemies of earth are put under him, and they're already under him in a sense, but until everything comes to its fulfillment. So I think when it says one like the Son of Man, it's probably talking about the two witnesses. Okay, was brought before him. So the angels brought this guy before the Ancient of Days, before God, before Jesus. And then it says, there was given him dominion, glory, and kingdoms, one that is everlasting, which will not be destroyed. This is the 1,000-year reign. This 1,000-year reign, even though things change, it's never going to be destroyed. This kingdom is the stone that just demolishes the statue of Nebuchadnezzar. And I'll go on. It says, now it also says, the Antichrist shall think to change times and laws, but the judgment that was ruled will stand. So this judgment, this law, or this court, this thing that when the first resurrection happens, when the books are open, when the judgment is laid down from the Ancient of Days, and the Son of Man is given all these things, one like the Son of Man is given all these things, then the even though he thinks to change the Antichrist, he thinks he's gonna change times and laws, but it's not gonna come to anything, because of the judgment that was ruled when God said, this is how it is, this is how it's gonna be, end of story. And I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna make 2 more parts to this series, but this is part 1 of the breakdown of Daniel. Read more and we'll get more into it.